What you're looking at here is a crock pot containing a very nice chuck roast, which is what we are going to have for tonight's supper. Now, a lot of people think that when you put meat in a crock pot you need to add water. That's not the case. This meat goes into the crock pot dry with no additional water added because the meat has its own juices and it will cook in its own juice. I am going to add a couple of things though. First of all, a little bit of Wright's liquid smoke. I hope that's focused. If you've never used this, you might want to give it a try. It has a great smell, and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that in there. Not very much, maybe like half a teaspoon approximately. And the other item is a little bit of Lea & Perrins Worcestershire sauce, the original. This is the only Worcestershire sauce allowed in the Magnum household. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that in there too, and that will add some great flavor to the roast. So that's all we have to do at this point. We turn it on high and we just let it sit there for about 4 hours or so. So I'll be back in about 2 seconds and show you what we do next. It's been about 3.5 hours so far. I know it probably only seems like a couple of seconds to you, but the beef is looking very good. And we're going to take out a little bit of the juices here so that we can utilize that a little bit later for our gravy. Okay, that's way more than enough, and we will just let that continue to stew a little bit, and we'll get some potatoes and carrots ready to put in. So stick around, it'll only be like a 2-second dissolve until we're back. Alrighty, we've got the potatoes and the carrots chopped up, and we've got some onions in there as well. So we're just going to give this a little stir. The meat's down below with all the juices, and we'll just let that sit there and cook for about 2 hours, and then we'll be ready to make the gravy. So it's only going to be like a couple of seconds for you, so just stay right there. Okay, it's time to make the gravy. We have about 4 tablespoons of meat juice in this little pot. We're going to heat that up a little bit, and we're going to thicken it with a little bit of flour. Now you can use cornstarch if you like, but I prefer using flour. And we're going to let that get warm a little bit, and then we're going to sprinkle about the equivalent of 2 or 3 tablespoons of flour in here to dissolve in this meat juice. Now you can also mix the flour with water if you'd like to make like a slurry that will mix easier, but this works pretty well. Just about done. The gravy is perfect. We're going to carve a little bit of this roast. We've let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes. So we're going to slice some of this. Now, a chuck roast is not the best slicing roast, but it's kind of more of a chunky chunk roast. But I don't know where you're going to look that term up, but it kind of pulls apart rather than slicing. But we're going to slice a little bit of it anyway and see how it comes out. Now, this is half of the roast. Rosie took the other half after it was cooked and put it in a bag and put it in the freezer, and we'll have that for another meal. And since there are only 2 of us that have to be fed here, this is more than an ample amount. It looks pretty tasty to me. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this up, and then we'll serve up the plates and see how it tastes. So stick around. And there we are. We have the roast, we have the potatoes and carrots and a little bit of gravy and a nice warm croissant. And I'm going to take a bite of this and see how it tastes. So hold on right there and I'll let you know in just a second. Does need a little bit of salt, because we didn't put any salt in any of the crock pot or the gravy. So I'm going to try it again. The roast is pretty tender actually for a chuck roast. This is kind of a dull knife. That's mighty tasty. So I'm going to fix Mrs. Magnum's plate, and then I'm going to eat this. I don't know what you guys are going to do, but I'm going to eat this, and I think I'll be very happy afterwards. So until I speak with you again, and even after that, yeah, you stay focused. I'm going to have another bite.